How many people would be here tonight if we gave a series of sermons on prosperity? How many would be here if we gave a series of sermons on healing? Isn't it amazing that so many people want the gifts of God, and they even want gifts that God never promised to give, but they're not really interested in God. They don't care to know who He is or what He has done for them unless it has to do with the temporal prosperity and well-being of this life. Imagine that you were a young man and you were interested in a young woman to marry her, and you asked her, "Will you marry me?" And to your surprise, she says yes. And so you're very excited. You're very happy. Cannot believe she said yes. But then you ask her, "Why did you say yes?" And she says, "Well, you have a lot of money, and you have a big car, and you have a nice house. I really don't like you very much, but I like all the stuff that you can give me." It would break your heart to hear that. And yet that is the very thing that happens almost every day in evangelicalism. People want God's gifts, but do they want God? They may study the Scriptures to see what kind of promises there are for them, but do they study the Scriptures just to know God? They may have long prayer meetings to try to get God to give them all that they think He's promising.
I don't know what you feel about the prosperity gospel, the health, wealth, and prosperity gospel, but I'll tell you what I feel about it. Hatred. It is not the gospel. And it's being exported from this country to Africa and Asia, selling a bill of goods to the poorest of the poor. Believe this message: your pigs won't die. Your wife won't have miscarriages. You have rings on your fingers and coats on your back. That's coming out of America. The people that ought to be giving our money and our time and our lives, instead selling them a bunch of crap called gospel. And here's the reason it is so horrible. When was the last time that any American, African, Asian ever said, "Jesus is all satisfying because you drove a BMW"? Never. They'll say, "Jesus give you that?" "Yeah, well, I'll take Jesus." That's idolatry. That's not the gospel. That's elevating gifts above giver. I'll tell you what makes Jesus look beautiful is when you smash your car and your little girl goes flying through the windshield and lands like dead on the street. And you say, through the deepest possible pain, God is enough. God is enough. He is good. He will take care of us. He will satisfy us. He will get us through this. He is our treasure. Whom have I in heaven but you? And on earth there's nothing that I desire besides you. My flesh and my heart, my little girl may fail, but you are the strength of my heart and my portion forever. That makes God look glorious. As God, not as giver of cars or safety or health. Oh, how I pray that America would be purged of the health, wealth, and prosperity gospel, and that the Christian church would be marked by suffering for Christ. God is most glorified in you when you are most satisfied in Him in the midst of loss, not prosperity.